Hey, it's Jake, and today we are going to be talking about my experience with going bald. But first, I want to talk to you about a few other stories. The first one is kind of weird for me because I'm actually taken up for the Trump administration, which is, if you know me, is not something that I have ever done. So everyone is coming for Melania because of the Rose Garden. They had it redone and everything, but as somebody who is into landscaping and into plants, when you read into it, it makes a lot of sense. Apparently, it's been something that's been looked into and been planned for a while now. And a lot of the trees that got removed were not cherry trees. Of course, cherry trees are all across the Washington Monument and everything. So that's the first thing that people, like, oh my God, they're removing cherry trees. No, they were crab apples, and they were like 50 years old or older, which is old for that tree. They get diseases. They're coming towards the end of their lifespan anyway. So they removed those, and then of course with the trees, they got so big they were shading the roses that a lot of the roses that were originally planted there either are diseased or just didn't grow well, and a lot of them have actually died over the last how many every years that they've been planted. So it's not, crazy, to think that, it was time for them to, be moved and changed out. And then, of course, the boxwoods, apparently a lot of them have this disease called a boxwood blight. And so it was just time for them to be done, be gone. And so it's not really even Melania's like decision. Like apparently the National Parks Department actually takes care of the grounds of the White House, which I didn't know that. And then there's like this like committee, and like she's like the honorary chair, so that's why she got to make the announcement. Now I did read that she could have said we're cleaning it up, making it cleaner. This is gonna be it's been a bad time in America. This will add a little beauty. This will something like that. Of course they didn't. But people believed it, I don't know. But oh, and another thing, they're adding new irrigation. Apparently, like a lot of the sod in the middle has to be replaced every single year because of it flooded right there. So they apparently corrected that problem. They added new irrigation pipes that were flooding and everything. And all around, it's actually a good thing. They expanded the pathways, make them more ADA compliant, which is a great thing. And yeah, overall, I mean, it's supposed to be a good change, but because she announced it, no one's doing it. So I'm taking up for them here. It's a change that needed to be, done, and that it's finally, apparently, like I said, it's been planned for years. It's kind of sounded like it was even planned, it was in the planning stages for years because everyone knew, like the roses are like kind of like known like from the Kennedys and everything, so they knew everybody was going to be upset, and so they didn't really want to, upset anybody, and they wanted it to be pretty. Apparently, the Trump administration, they talked to like this like well-known, uh, like prestigious landscape design firm, so they helped do it. And then they also got someone who's from the Hamptons that like deals with like all of those clients. So like they got good people to do it. And I looked at it; it doesn't look, I don't know. It does look, I guess, cleaner. It doesn't look like, I don't know. I love to overplant my garden. I just like, because I like the tropical looking look. But I know even for that, like, you sometimes have to go in, like, even if you have daylilies or hostas, that's like a common plant a lot of people have. You got to go in and, like, break them up every couple years, ornamental grasses you need to, or they start dying. So, like, your garden is never truly complete. You're going to have to renovate it and redo it all the time. And so this is basically what they did. It's not them acting like, the White House is their permanent home. It's not them, saying, screw you, Kennedys. It's not, it's not, this is literally not a political thing. It's something that needs to be done. And it sounds like it's something that they didn't really even have a huge say in. Melania was just kind of the figurehead of it to say, here, let me announce it. And, it kind of played into the point that, she's doing for the RNC. Her speech is going to be filmed in the new Rose Garden. And someone else, what was it that they said? I can't think about it, but, or I can't remember. I like had it and then it like, went totally away. But anyway, oh, usually garden work would be done in the spring or in the like cooler months. Fall's a great time, not in the middle of summer, but apparently they do a lot of the projects during the summer because the family's not there. So, and there's less activities actually on the White House grounds because of it being summer and stuff. So that's why they did it. So hopefully everything they planted, grows well and doesn't get, taken out by any like late summer heat. Anyway, moving on. So this teacher in Florida that is being made to return to work, I believe it said it was first graders. She made their desk. They have to have plexiglass, and it looked really awesome. She made it look like Jeeps, and she said that she just thought it'd be fun. And on the first day of school, they're gonna give each kid, or they already did this, keys to their Jeep and tell them like just like a real car, you've got to stay in there unless we tell you it's safe to get out. And people from both sides like went in on her. There were some good people though that were like, look, this is just a cute little thing, and it is just a cute little thing, and it really is adorable. I feel like through this whole thing, people are acting like children are complete dumbasses. All these people are like, well, my kid would never leave a mask on. Well, you make them or you incentivize them to keep the mask on. Like my niece is 3, she has no trouble keeping her mask on. I've seen people talk about going to theme parks. They have like 2 and 3 year olds that had to wear a mask, and they're like, they wore them just fine. How do you have a little faith in your kid that they're not a complete dumbass, and that if you kind of can get on their level, they're smart. I mean, I've been amazed about like what my like niece picks up since she was like a baby, like since like 1. They really do pick up on things, and like if you're like talking about well, masks are stupid and social distancing is stupid and this isn't real, then they're less likely to do that. And so like if they're going to a classroom, make it safe. You don't want to be that asshole and the actual dumbass who is on TV saying, I didn't believe it was real and now my kid's dead. Don't be like that. Encourage it. Kids aren't dumb. If you're incentivize them, be like, keep your mask on today. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe you'll get a special snack. I don't know. Do something. You should know your kid. You should also know your kid is smarter than you're giving them credit for. But you have people talking about this just trying to, make them fall for it and, make the kids liberal and all that. I'm like, they're first graders. Like, seriously? Then you had some people who were against schools being opened at all. And they're like, well, this teacher obviously just wants, her paycheck. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, she made it fun. She's being forced to have the school open. We don't know the teacher's political beliefs at all. And again, something kind of like the Rose Garden, masks should have never been politicized. This virus should have never been politicized. Quit bringing politics in this stupid things. And so I just think it's a cool way that she's trying to make it better. She's trying to make it easier on the kids and all that. I saw some woman. She like her kindergartner was crying and all that. This was also posted. I wasn't even going to talk about this, and she said that she cried with him, and I'm like, again, it sucks that as a kindergartner, he doesn't get to go to school. I'm assuming this kid was excited to go to school finally. Make it fun. Don't show them that you're upset that they, missed this milestone as well. Or, like, of course everyone wants to take a picture and post it and be like, oh, my kid is on, he's finally starting school. Oh my God. Like, it's not a normal time. And I think you can like think, yeah, this sucks. I'm missing this. It sucks really badly. But there have been a lot of times in history with wars and other diseases where people have missed milestones. I turned 30 in October. I'm not gonna have a usual like 30-year-old blowout like most people have. It's okay. Does it suck? Yeah. But will I live? Yeah. Like it's not something like just you can't like let this control your life. And a lot of these milestones are kind of made up milestones by humans. So it isn't even like something that, in the grand scheme of things, when he's graduating high school, he's not going to give a shit that he didn't have a proper kindergarten. Like, and I feel like also you should have been preparing him, going like, well, we've talked about what school's going to be like. It's going to be different this year. And if you have a negative, like, impact, like, if you, or a negative, like, outlook at like, what school is going to be this year, and kind of like I said, like if you're talking, it's not real or whatever, yeah, they're going to be even more upset. So that's just me. I think that people don't give their kids enough credit, and just don't realize also what their kids pick up on. So, whatever. And of course, everyone would tell me, they'd be like, well, you don't have a kid, so how do you know? But I've seen a lot of my niece. And I don't want kids because I've seen a lot about my niece. So TikTok started the creator fund payouts last week, and some people were disappointed, and it is fascinating. I didn't really think about it. Like YouTube, you get paid out your CPM, and that is cost per thousand, can be a little bit higher, but a lot of that is because they're ads. So like everyone has to either see at least a part of the ad before they skip it, or they actually have to sit through the ads. And what we're seeing is with TikTok, they're not really seeing the ads. Like I'm assuming the creator fund is coming from the ad revenue, but per TikTok views, they're not seeing an ad on your TikTok before they see your TikTok. So it seems like there's a lot of factors that obviously they haven't talked about, and I'm not in it yet. I don't have enough people, but it's been interesting. I saw on Reddit like some guy had like 450 to 500,000 views. And I think he made like $18, and this other guy had over 1 million views and only made like $2. And so it's looking like you need to have the views and the engagement. So that's likes and definitely comments. Because the more engaging a and I think also like it also takes in how long people viewed your TikTok. Because one view may be a view, but what was that retention? Did they view it for just 2 seconds before they swiped up, or did they view it multiple times? Did they watch the entire thing? So obviously you're going to have a higher CPM if more people are watching your entire thing, if they're watching it a bunch, if they're liking, if they're commenting, you're going to be worth more to TikTok because people are going to be on the app longer. So this is very short because there's really nothing to talk about. They're very secretive about a lot of things, and they're very secretive about how this is going. Some of the larger creators, some people had issues with them getting such a high amount, and like David Dobrik, like he is a bigger creator. I don't necessarily think, I don't know, he helps that he has a huge audience, and of course they're going to incentivize the people with the huge audience. Even if he got his start, I mean, he was on Vine, then he has blown up on YouTube, and then now he's on TikTok as well. And it's like, well, but he's bringing his YouTube audience probably over. He probably is worth it to the company. So I understand people's like belief systems, I guess, that these larger people shouldn't, because I feel like TikTok, their whole like stance is anybody can be a viral star, but if you're paying oodles of millions of dollars to people who are already established and give them pennies to smaller creators, then then I don't know, you do start to kind of lose that everybody's a star, anybody can be viral. But I think it's okay because I understand it's a business move. So for me, it totally, I think it makes sense. But I know a lot of people are upset about it. It is what it is, right? I mean, so anyway, let's take a look. Next story. Oh, bald. Okay, so I thought about this because I was watching on YouTube. Me and my boyfriend, we were watching this. Someone had posted this Weather Channel thing about a tornado, and there was a weather guy. And when they were doing his like interview shots, he looked like he had a full head of hair. But then when it showed him like during the thing, forecasting the tornado and following it, he turned around. You could see he had a huge bald spot. And I was like, I wonder why some guys do that. Why they like, I don't know. For me personally, this jumps ahead, but like for me, I'm more comfortable now shaving my head than having my bald spot showing. Like I don't understand like keeping that. But so I was looking at pictures, and I think my hair up front started to recede probably about the age of 21, 22. You can really tell it had receded at 23. It wasn't terrible, like you wouldn't necessarily know, but you could definitely tell that it wasn't going to be there much longer. And then like I remember the first time, probably around the time I turned 26, I remember getting sunburned, and my whole head, like my scalp was burned, and that like never happened. My hair was so thick and curly and wavy, and it grew like I could have taken a haircut every 2 weeks, but I would last a month, and and I was getting my hair cut, and it was costing like $30 without a tip. And so finally, about the time I literally like 2 weeks. No, it was after I turned 27. It was like 2 weeks after I turned 27. I look in the mirror and I'm like, why am I paying this much money? So I bought some clippers and I shaved it because I don't know. Like from 26 to 27, it seemed to really accelerate. Like I remember, like I said, I got sunburned. I got sunburned a few times, and I tried to ignore it. And I'm like, oh my god, like I'm getting like I started like looking in a mirror, like, and then I noticed on the like security cameras at work, see a huge bald spot. I'm like, oh my god. I was like, I'm gonna go bald, and it was really upsetting to me. Like I really had a hard time accepting it. I'd always had hair. I didn't like my hair because I couldn't do anything. Like when guys were like growing it out back in like 2003, 2004. I couldn't do it because it would just like mound up on top. Like it wouldn't do it. When I got my hair cut at a new place, they'd always be like, "Oh my God, look at this wave!" I don't remember what kind of wave, but they were like, "They teach us this in school, and it's so hard to make people's hair do it. Yours does it naturally." And then I was always told, "Well, the genes for balding comes from your mother's side," and so no one on my mom's side has fully lost their hair. Like my uncle, like he has like some hair receding, and then from pictures I've seen of my mom's dad, because I've never met him, he died before I was born. He kind of had that as well, and like even when he was older, he still had hair, and I was like, cool, I'm good. Like, I was like, I'm fine. And then no, it wasn't. Um, it wasn't fine. So I don't think it comes from your mother's side. It has to come from my dad's side. And my biological dad is bald. So, and his brothers are bald. Like, so it has. I don't think that's true. However, they say by 50 years old, 50% of men will have experienced some sort of hair loss, and most of that is like balding. And then like if you go like a few more years, like 60 or 70, like 90% of men will experience either receding hairlines or bald spots. So I just think it's kind of fascinating, and I have to get comfortable with it. I guess everybody, if you're comfortable keeping most of your hair but having a big bald spot, do it. To me, it's kind of like the guys that are like bald but they have a ponytail. Because that's the thing. Like it took me the first time like 2 hours to like buzz my hair. Now I can do it in like 5 minutes. It's once a week. I could probably do it twice a week because the hair I do have again grows incredibly fast, and it's so frustrating. I'm like, I wish it all would just fall out. Like I don't understand why we got to keep a little bit of it. So as I was receding from the front, and then the back was like balding, and they were eventually gonna like connect. Like like I still have the little bit of hair there, but anyway, I feel much more comfortable. As I've like started shaving my hair, I feel a little more comfortable. I still wear a lot of hats, but I don't feel necessarily terrible when I go outside and I'm like, shit, I forgot my hat. Some people do like with my hat on. People like I'm 29. A lot of people, and I'm overweight. Like I mean, people will go, I would have thought you were like 23, 24, but when I take my hat off, they're like, you look a little bit older. I've done anything from, oh, you still like 23, 24 to, I would have thought you were in your, mid 30s, upper 30s. I'm like, So my boyfriend, his hair is like receding and kind of thinning out, and he's like, he doesn't mind mine. Like he thinks I'm attractive and stuff. Like, but for him, he's like, oh my god, my hair, and I'm like, really? I'm like, let's not complain about our hair, okay? Like it doesn't necessarily make me feel bad, because I understand. I understand you got to come to terms with losing something that you have your whole life, and like you style it, like it just becomes a part of you. So get you some cool hats. A tip I learned is if you guys are going bald, is just shave it off. You do look completely better if you shave it off. But my best tip is don't spend a lot on hats. I have a few hats that I have definitely spent $50 or $60 on. But if you're a sweater like me, like you sweat a lot, don't spend a lot on hats. There's a lot of cool hats out there for like pretty cheap, like $10, $15. Like you can wash them in the washing machine. I've heard if you put them in a pillowcase, you can wash them in the washing machine. Oh, dishwasher is what I meant, not washing machine. The first one, if you put them on the top rack of the dishwasher, kind of lay them out and don't let them like become deformed, you'll be really awesome. But anyway, that's just my thing about balding. Like, and I'd love to know what you guys like. If you guys have accepted it, if you know you're balding, if you have any other questions, you still should wash your hair. I'd love to get like a hair wash that's for like skin, like for the top of your hair. But it seems like shampooing. You should still shampoo about once or twice a week. It just helps to rub your hair and like not let that skin like not be stimulated. I just got burnt last weekend. Thought my uh, friends would have some sunscreen and they didn't, and I got so burnt, and it was the first time I've really had my head exposed this summer, and like I'm peeling like crazy. I can make it snow. Like it's not great. So definitely sunblock, cheap hats, and just shave it all off. You will seriously look a lot better, and people, I don't think people are just like, oh, he's bald. Like they don't think though, but like when you take off a hat, and obviously you saw some hair, it's like, oh, he's bald. Like, wasn't expecting that. What a turn of event. And so like, mine's starting to get low enough that even with my hat you can tell I'm bald. So people kind of already like can expect it. So anyway, that's what I have on balding. But anyway, so if you guys, thank you for listening. Again, I want this to be a community podcast where there's a lot of interaction. I'm on all the social media as It's Jake Pod. And if you want to email in, the email is heyitsjake@gmail.com. And if you want to support this podcast, which would be amazing, I'm on Patreon as patreon.com/JakeLX. Choose the podcast only option, or there's just a general $5 option that everything helps fund everything. So, and then you can directly do the podcast only at anchor.fm/. Hey, it's Jake/support. So thank you guys for listening and supporting this podcast. Please subscribe and give me a 5-star review on iTunes if you're listening, or on, sorry, Apple Podcasts. I forgot they changed it. And I hope it helped. But again, comment anything. Just let me know what episode you are commenting on, and let me know if I can read it on the air. So thank you guys, and have an amazing rest of your day or whatever you're doing.